every corner I seem to go to, there's a new store popping up.
On the way down here, right on the street corner, I saw a guy with a table with a sign that said "We buy gold."
It's
Everybody's buying.
I mean, all these stores that have been abandoned for a long time,
Yep.
they're popping up with either We Buy Gold or checks to cash. Seems like those are the two keep popping up.
You just gotta be careful so it doesn't say "We rob you."
Now, what do you mean? I mean, they're going to buy your gold. They're not going to rob you, right?
Well, remember earlier I showed you something? I asked you about the gold ring that you kept up there.
Yeah, but I never keep a gold ring up there.
No, but what'd you do?
Well, I looked for it.
And
Thought maybe I left one up there.
And while you did that, what did I do?
I don't know what you did. Took my bottle of gold testing kit?
Yeah. Then I put it back with the one that I had.
It looked the same.
Well, sure, it looked the same. But you know what's in it?
What?
18, 10, and 10.
Wow.
Do you see what I'm talking about?
So you switched out the acids on me.
Well, I was trying to show you that. Remember we had talked a long time ago, and I told you that I got had a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's how I got had.
I'll be darned. Now,
and I was the guy with the gold testing kit. I thought I was slick, you know. And so that means, you know, when you test it for 10.
so if you're buying gold, you got to keep your eye and keep your hands on your bottles at all times.
Yeah,
Because
well,
there's a little
actually,
trick.
how that would be is when you switch it. It was what we're talking about. You wouldn't switch it. It wouldn't be 18, 10, and 10. You know what I mean? Even though, you know, it's usually 18, 14, and 10. So what would it be?
It'd be 18, 10, and 10.
18, 18, and 10. Because everything would be 10. And how many times have you got a piece of gold? You know, when you start testing that stuff, that's your acid. You're pretty sure of yourself. You know what I mean?
Well, let's turn the tables. We go to one of these brand new We Buy Gold places. What kind of tricks are they using to steal the gold?
Well, for one, they use the word pennyweight. It cheapens it, you know, to grams. A lot of people. To me, I don't see any difference. You know, pennyweight or grams. It's a measurement and has to be used. But with them, they've already got their acid fixed. You know.
So they might have very powerful acids
Well, if you remember, very powerful acids
that are
in the
there,
14
in the 14.
to make it look like a 10, or the 18 to look like a. And you know, you've heard the story in Mexico and Italy. There's a lot of stuff that's stamped 14 that's only 10. You know, now that's a fact. Matter of fact, we tested a piece just a while ago. Remember that?
Yeah.
And it held up real well. I mean, you can still see the lines, but it was stamped 10 karat gold. So that bothers me a little bit. You know, it's not foolproof, but it's 99.9%. So when you're buying from somebody, they can weaken their acid, or they can strengthen their acid. And they'd want to strengthen it, you know. Then when you come in there and you've got a piece that's not marked or hey, look, you know, they usually just scratch it and then they write it down. They don't let you see it, you know.
So how do you avoid getting taken at these places?
Buy your own test kit.
Buy your own test kit.
Absolutely, yeah.
Test it out before you go there.
I've been had so many times when I was young. I didn't know what was coming or going. I started out buying and selling gold at 18. And the first time I got beat real bad was an older lady. She was from Greece. She was going back to the old country and going to Hot Springs. She was selling everything she had, and she had taken a liking to me and a friend of mine. PJ is his name. And his wife was ran a post office in Ohio. But anyway, this woman asked me if I'd go sell some gold for her. So I well, sure. She says, I'll give you 25%. Okay. So she gave me a box like this. Her husband had bought her a $20 gold piece every birthday. She was up in her 80s. I had a whole box of them. And I had $5 gold pieces, all kinds. I didn't even know what it was. You know, I was a kid, 18 years old. So she told me where to take it. So I went up there. Me and PJ got out. And of course, we had cut-off shorts on. Our hair was long and straggly. We were young guys. You know, we didn't know any better. We stood out there. Well, they had to buzz you in. Well, people were walking around us. They'd buzz us. Buzz the door, and they let somebody in, and they tell us to wait a little bit. So finally a guy comes walking up and he's got coffee in his hand, and he looks at us and he says, what do you got there? And I opened it up, you know, this little gold, and his eyes got this big, and he said, holy cow. He says, come right in. Want some coffee? Want some donuts? Started treating us like everybody else at that point. Well, you set us down in the room, you know, and I didn't know. I was trying to act like I knew. And I know the guy beat me bad. $20 gold pieces uncirculated, and he'd say, I can only give you $380 for this one, or $280. I can only give you $80 for this one. Well, there was a lot of pieces. It come to a lot of money. It come to just about $15,000, and that's when gold was at a couple $100 an ounce. You know, it wasn't really up there yet. So I thought that was big money, you know. So I asked to use his phone. I called her, and she was happy with it because she didn't know the price of gold either. So we left there, and I went back. I gave her money. She gave me more than 25%, and then she had me sell a Bulgarian rug. And I mean, I was really getting into this stuff with other people getting me involved in it. She had a nice kellum, not a rug. It was a kellum. But this woman sent me to them, and she told me, she says, they probably beat you, probably cheated you. She says, but we don't care. She says, we're selling out. And so I got curious. I still had a list of those coins I had made. So I went to the library. That guy whacked me. I mean, he probably gave me about half of what he should have gave me.
So you gotta know what your gold is worth.
Buy a gold kit. I don't care what you do. Buy a gold kit. Learn about gold. Get a diamond tester. And don't do business with your in-laws.
Knowledge is king. The more you know when you go in there, the better.
It's unbelievable because they will cheat you. You and I both know that something happened to me last year, and I didn't say nothing to the guy, but I took my gold and left. Remember when I told you about it?
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened there.
So 3 rules to remember. Test your gold, know what carat it is.
Yeah.
Know what the price of gold is. Know what the spot price is and what
That's right.
approximately
And
what
how to
it's
break
worth.
it down. There's all kinds of charts on
And if you find a company that you go to that they say, yeah, it's not 14, it's 10, and you know it's 14, don't sell it to them.
get out of there.
Get out of
Never
there.
go
Never
back.
turn back.
Your first loss is your best loss. In other words, you know what they're going to do to you. So
Yeah.
why go back for seconds?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like walking out in the alley with a bully and he beats you about half to death. You know, you come back with 2 black eyes. Well, your eyes heal. Next week you're in the same restaurant and he says, hey, let's step out back. If you go out back, you got it coming.
Now let me ask you this though, one more thing. So I know what I got. I got a 14 karat gold ring. It weighs 10 grams. I know the spot price of this is X number of dollars. Now the guy's not going to pay me the spot price. What's a fair?
Well, it depends on who you're dealing with. And most of them will get. I mean, they're gonna gig you. Most of them. I don't care what anybody tells you. Like those people that put their money in an envelope and send it off to that place for them to pay for the gold. Oh, dear God, I've heard horror stories. And even the police are looking into a lot of those places. It depends, but it depends on how much you got. You know, if you got a small amount, I would guess that they should pay you, to be fair with you, and if they know you, 60-70% of what it's worth would be my guess. That's what I would pay.
That's probably a fair.
60-70% is what I pay my customers over the years. But I did get, like, if I had a large amount, I would insist on 70%.
Okay.
70-75, because like if I had one time I had 38 ounces. Well, I wanted a premium. He was making a lot of money and he took it. There was coins in there too. And when you find somebody good that treats you right, stay with them. But just about every one of them will try to weasel you before it's over with anyway. They'll try to sneak up on you.
No, I mean that's their business to make money
Sure.
on buying gold.
And,
So,
and you got to let them make money too,
Yeah.
because they're the guy that takes care of you. Costs 10% to melt it or something like that. It costs a lot of money to melt that stuff down and make it into a pure bar. There's no doubt about it. He's got to handle it, and there's risk, and he has to make money. Always remember that when you're selling. You can't get what it's worth all the time, unless you want to sit on it and sell it for the fabrication in itself. And I was never for that, unless it was something very unusual. And actually, you at Auction Bay Online, you get a lot of nice, unusual gold. I've been watching that, you know, for the last 2-3 years. You really get some neat stuff.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Antique rings and money clips and lots of cool stuff.
Yeah, that money clip is nice. I love that money clip.
Yeah, I did too.
That's on that other channel of ours. You know that, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you put it on yesterday again.
Yeah.
I deleted that by accident, remember?
Mm-hmm.
But just get your own gold kit. Learn about gold, about testing gold. Be careful with it. I've never used goggles or I've never used anything on my hands yet, and somehow I've escaped. I've got little yellow hands every once in a while, but I've escaped that. But be careful on the old switcheroo, because they do it. I had a guy sell me a ring once in my store, and I had agreed to give him the stone. So I popped the stone out and I set the ring down. And I turned around, got a little baggie, and threw the stone in the baggie, and I handed it to him. Picked up the ring and set it on my cash register. Well, I took it home with me that night, and I looked at it, and it looked funny, you know, it's too light. So I weighed it. It wasn't the same weight, it was a different ring. The guy switched it on me. Gotta be real careful. People do a lot of things for money. When gold's high, it doesn't take a lot. You know, a little bit can hurt you. I'm gonna leave you with one last story to the businessmen out there. I remember I told you about my friend Dale. Some people brought in some big hunks of gold like this. They brought in, he's a big gold buyer in the LA area.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where I used to sell all my stuff. I go right down to him. He was really good with me. He got all my gold. I sold him those Carson Cities, a small suitcase full of Carson Cities. He was always real fair with me. But what they did to him is they brought him a big load of gold. And he actually got to drill into it and test it and everything. And he got beat for $65,000 cash. And I overlooked the videos, and you can see him doing the switcheroo on them.
So what did he drill into?
In the videos, he was drilling into them, and it was gold. But while they were drilling into it, they had another piece they could switch. Big hunk. We're talking big hunks, like out of a big giant vein. They might have been made or not made. I don't know. I never saw the real stuff. It happened, and he never did catch them. They were from South America.
I don't get it though. He was drilling through his gold.
Well, they brought the stuff in to sell it. They brought samples in, you know, little samples, and he looked at it. Of course, it's a under the table deal, you know, and he's all excited about that because it's not recorded. I'll never forget it. He loved paperwork after that. But they had a lot of money. They made a lot of money doing that. They dealt in me and the Marilyn Monroe stuff. He was my partner on that, the Marilyn Monroe pictures. But the truth about it is, don't get involved in a deal like that. When he drilled into it, okay, in the shavings, well, he took the shavings over and tested them. While he was doing that, they switched to stone.
So they had another one already had
Yeah,
been
they
drilled?
took it right out and gave it. He held it like this, and another guy put it right back up there. It was on the cameras when we went back and looked at it.
Wow.
The guy switched it around. Then the other one was a drill hole, just like he drilled.
I'll be darned.
In there.
How did they know what kind of drill he was going to use?
Well, they brought the drill for him, a special drill.
Nice.
Yeah, it was all set up there, you know. But it did happen. It did happen. Then there was another one I forgot. Oh, my friend Lee. Remember I told you about that? About the guy at a donut shop? This guy come in from L.A. selling gold coins. Well, he showed us a $20 gold piece, and it was a Cougaran. It was certainly real. And he said he had like 30 of them that he wanted to sell, but he'd have to bring them back the next day. I said, well, fine. I said, I'd be interested. And of course, Lee would be too. So God, I hate this story because it hurt him bad. The guy said, I'll be there at noon tomorrow. I said, don't buy those. I said, because they've got things where you can slide them through, see how they fit, the exact weight. You weigh them to make sure the exact weight. And I said, we'll see you at noon tomorrow for lunch. So the guy was going to meet us at noon. Well, the guy come in at 10:30 the next day before I got there. And he told Lee he was in a hurry. So Lee bought 17 of them. And at the time, they were worth about $700 apiece. And cooked them for that. They were no good. They were phonies. And how he got him is they were going in, and they took one of them, and he handed them one of the coins. He said, go and make sure it's real. So he took it in a shop and made sure it was real. Then we went to the bank and gave him the money. Just over with, just like that. Got to be real careful. Real careful. And down in the L.A. area, it gets pretty tough.
Sure.
It does.
It can get tough anyway.
I always thought L.A. though was harder than Chicago, you know, in my opinion. Being brought up in the Chicago area, and then living down there for 30 years, I always thought that L.A. was a lot rougher than Chicago. Chicago was a breeze compared to L.A. Anyway, that's about all I can tell you and give you some idea how people handle stuff.
All right, Jack.
It's not pretty.